Well, that must have been a huge learning curve for you to go from, doing the smaller parts or to doing, short bursts to be filming those grueling hours over a year. And then when you look at the books as well, I'm like your character travels through time across, different centuries and, gets drawn into all sorts of action scenes, your horse riding, it kind of pulled into major battles. There's romance on the screen. You're doing all sorts of things. So you were obviously learning all the time, and you built up a wide range of skills, and that was an incredible learning curve. But did you embrace every learning moment, and what stood out from you from all of that? And did you realize that you were building up these skills and this resilience to becoming an absolutely brilliant actor?
Well, I don't know if you realize things usually, well, me anyway. I think these things sort of, you look back in hindsight and you become more aware of it. And at the time, you're sort of just surviving. But, I think sometimes people look down on genres like this, but you don't get to do as much in other genres. I mean, I've literally been able to do so much with this character in terms of her aging, different stages in her life, in her personal life, professional life. As you said, there's action, there's, it sort of encompasses so many things, this show. And one of the things is that it's just kept it really, really interesting for me, which is really important, because I think, that keeping it challenging and keeping you on your toes, and I guess constantly learning, is something that's really important to me. But one of the most amazing things I think about this show, the fact that we shot it in the UK, was the incredible actors I got to work with. And that was the biggest learning, moment, or the most education, I think, having not gone to a traditional, or not finished my traditional acting school, being able to work with people like, Tobias Menzies, Simon Callow, Bill Patterson, all of these great actors we've had. And then in season 2, we had a bunch of amazing French actors like Dominique Perron and Pignon, sorry. Working with people of that caliber, it makes you raise your game. It makes you keeps you on your toes. I think that's been the greatest thing. It's been so lovely to be able to always have great sparring partners. And, I think from the very get-go, I was really lucky. My first 2 weeks were with Tobias pretty much exclusively. And Tobias is such an incredible actor. And so he definitely set a tone of the level of where we were going to be at. And, everyone, Gary Lewis and Graham McTavish and Sam, and, it's all of these incredible actors who just every day, we were always trying to elevate everything. What was on the page was great, but it's like, how do we elevate it? How do we keep it, more honest? How do we ground it?
And so were you getting a lot of time to rehearse and to workshop certain elements and all of that? Or were you really, were you?
No, I mean, occasionally we would get some rehearsal, like the day of read through, and usually there's it's not a lot. Usually there's 2 days between blocks. They try and do it over a weekend. So you get a weekend and 2 days before you start the next 2 scripts. So sometimes you would have a bit of rehearsal of, if there was a big scene, a big moment or whatever, or some of the more romantic scenes, they have to be sort of blocked out and rehearsed. But there was horse riding rehearsals that we all had to, as everyone as an actor was like, yeah, we've got loads of horse riding experience, and we all show up and everyone's like, actually, when I said lots of experience, what I meant was I've been on a horse once. But some of the stuff, like we did have, I'm trying to remember now. There was some of the stuff with Claire, because of her being a nurse and because of then later on being a doctor, you know, we do have a medical advisor, and sometimes I have rehearsals with her, whether it's, you know, in season 1, I had a 1940s manual from the Second World War. It was all about bandaging, and so I had to learn all my different bandages.
Very good.
But yeah, so the little bits of that. But you know, those are always, that's the other thing. You know, you're stealing time at the end of a day, in lunchtime. You know, there's fittings always have to be fit in. It's you know, TV's an intense beast. Yeah.